3 things you can do for your career right now, even during a strike. Everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Get Taped here in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazingly talented, beautiful wife and best friend, Brooke. Never gets old, at least for me. And now on to our topic. 3 things you can do right now for your career, even during a strike. Okay, so if you're watching this in 2023 during the WGA strike and potentially impending SAG-AFTRA strike, then you might be sitting around thinking, what should I be doing? What can I be doing? Now, I don't want this video to be coming from a place of you should, because if you're not careful, you will should all over yourself. Instead, I'm just giving a few suggestions for the curious actor that has extra time and resources that you would normally be putting into auditions and classes and such. Side note, you should still be taking classes. But now you find yourself with extra resources, and so you just want some ideas on what you could be doing to prepare yourself for that inevitable deluge of opportunities that will come when the strike is over. Okay, so number 1 is to get efficient with your materials. Take a look at all of your websites that are associated with your career and see what you can do to make them more efficient. For instance, on your Actors Access page, do you have more than 5 photos? I'll wait. Oftentimes, we see actors who have 20 or more photos as part of their profile in Actors Access. And I don't know about you, but that causes decision paralysis for some people. I was just at the grocery store where I saw no less than 9, 10 flavors of Doritos. They had ketchup-flavored Doritos, mustard-flavored Doritos, hot nacho cheese, regular nacho cheese, Cool Ranch. It's just too many choices. And from an acting standpoint, looking at that many headshots starts to tell me, as the potential decision maker, that you don't know who you are, or at least you don't know who you want to be. And be careful justifying it from a standpoint of versatility. Oh, but I can be all these things. That photo with the glasses, and then the photo with the tie, and the photo with the tie loosened. Sure, they're showing slightly different shades of who you are, but the underlying core of what you're selling is not different between those 2 or 3 or 17 photos. So maybe get some outside counsel from someone on which of those photos can and should be taken off your profile to whittle it down to a manageable 5 or less. Now let's talk about social media. Do you still have a LinkedIn account that you haven't logged into in 3 years? Then consider closing it down. Same goes for any other social media that you just don't tend to often enough. It can become sort of a relic of who you used to be. And if someone is randomly searching you and they find that old Twitter account that you haven't touched in 6 years, well, you don't want that representing who you are today. So either tend to those social media accounts or maybe whittle those down as well, just like those headshots on Actors Access. And then for all of the other digital representations of you that remain, your website, your IMDb, your Actors Access, your casting networks, so forth and so on, just tend to them. Make sure that any resume materials on those sites are updated, that those headshots are updated, that the profile picture is consistent across all of those websites. And then if you still find yourself with a whole plethora of different websites, consider creating a link tree or something similar that you can use as the one link on your bio for each of those social media accounts. That creates a nice organized representation of all the different ways I can learn about you in one place. Again, the overarching theme of this first tip is efficiency. That way, when people are seeking to learn more about you, it's all right there in one easy to find place. It's all consistent and efficient. Okay, the second tip that I want to give is to learn more about your chosen profession. Think about any other career. One of the major requirements for you to sustain a professional career in fill in the blank is continuing education. Now, I'm working under the assumption that you've already taken some acting classes. Take more, for sure. That is something you should always be looking to do. But beyond that, make sure you stay up to date with the trades, especially during a time like this, if you're watching this during the WGA strike. That way you know what is happening in your chosen profession. Similarly, make sure you know what is out there in terms of content. Check out all of the critically acclaimed shows from the last year or 5. Likewise, check out all of the fan favorites from those last 5 to 10 years. You don't have to buy every streaming service, and you don't have to watch every episode or every movie in its entirety. but you want to get an overall understanding of what the fans and what the critics are raving about, because it affects what happens next in this industry, and you need to have an understanding of that current base from which the critics and the fans and then the producers and studios are pulling from, so that when you get an audition for that pilot or that film that has no previous footage to look up or to understand, you will have an overall grasp of the tone of the project because you understand what is happening in your industry. And lastly, do your research. Watch old films and old TV shows to see what came before you, especially if you're a young actor in your 20s. I can't tell you how many directors, how many producers, how many writers, while on set, will reference something from 20, 30, 60 years ago. And you might be in that position of just nodding and going, "Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Rosebud." And my third tip that I have for you during this down season is to live your life. With all this free time, pick up a hobby. Go on a vacation. Brooke and I are literally, as soon as I finish recording this, going on a vacation for the next week. So you'll probably be watching this after we're already back. But we hope to have ridden some roller coasters and seen lots of family. And it's a perfect time to do that because I'm not going to miss out on any opportunities while I'm gone. This is all so that when this season is over and the auditions come flooding back and you inevitably find yourself in that situation where either a self-tape or in a live audition, they're asking you to say something about yourself or what did you do to stay busy during the strike? You're not sitting there with the proverbial crickets in the background going, well, I just sort of sat on my thumbs and complained a lot. Is that bad? Because let's face it, it's really easy to get into that mindset during a slow season like this, or any slow season in your career, where you just want to complain. You just want to talk negatively about the industry. May I refer you back to my 7 stages of a drought video from a couple weeks ago. And while it's okay to air your grievances from time to time, if all you're doing during this slow season is complaining and not doing anything for yourself to grow yourself as a human or to grow yourself as an actor, well, then when those opportunities come flooding back in, you won't be ready. And then you'll be even more resentful, and it will just sort of keep spiraling and spiraling and spiraling, and then you'll wonder why you're still in this business. So do something for yourself and for your career during the slow season. And spoiler alert, almost everything that I suggested does not require money. So what excuses do you really have at this point? If you have some excuses, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them and potentially discuss them with you. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll eventually see you on set.